Okay, we're live. So today we're going to be talking about why you're struggling with delegation. And it all boils down to trust, right? So if you're new to me, my name is Kylie Ota. You're probably here because you've either heard about my systems and my organization skills, which falls under the marketing operations category, or you've heard that I'm an awesome life and business coach and you want to get more of the mindset stuff. Either way, those I'm going to talk about today how those both tie in to why you're struggling with delegation. So there are a couple of things behind delegation, right? Just the basics. Delegation means giving work to something else or someone else to do for you. So as a marketing operations strategist, I try to outsource the majority of the work to technology instead of people. Because even though you hire a person, right? I've been on that end. Like I started from the bottom as like a virtual assistant. Well, I lie. I've never started as a virtual assistant. I've started behind the scenes, but I because I did project management in corporate, I just kind of slid into like a management role and haven't really started at the bottom. Anyway, the what I wanted to talk about today is the trust factor, right? In order for you to delegate, there has to be a level of trust that you have either in the technology or the people that you're entrusting to do the work, right? Because if you don't have trust, there's only going to be a limited amount of delegation that can actually take place. And I get it when you're first starting out, right? And you've probably heard me talk about it before. If not, it's time versus money. If you're not familiar with the time principle, you draw a circle, cut it into 4 quadrants so that it looks like a clock. And time is an acronym. And so T and M on the time wheel stand for time and money. And time and money are on opposite sides of the wheel because they are directly proportionate. If you have the time to invest in your business, well, let me take that back. You're probably not investing money into your business because you don't have it. Therefore, you need to invest time into your business. So, right, there's a couple of factors that go into why you're struggling with delegation, right? If you have a money issue, of course, you don't have the assets to fund the delegation process, whether it's with, buying an app that you need or hiring a team member that you need in order to delegate and offboard that task or those tasks. So, and so right there's the money issue, but when we're looking at money and finances, especially when it comes to objections, when people are buying from you and they give you a money objection, the money objection, what it really means is that they don't value the what they're paying for, right? So maybe you haven't completely explained your offer correctly. Maybe like they don't, it's basically they don't know what they're going to get out of working with you. So it's not that you're not worth the price that you're charging, but that's how we interpret it. They actually don't see the value of your offer, right? So when you're not investing money into your business, it's also the same thing. Like, do you value your business? Like, and we talk about business being our babies. We have to really be cognizant of that. If your business is really your baby, how are you treating your baby? And I'm going to hop into the coaching, the mindset coaching space here. If you have a lot of childhood trauma or wounds that are left unhealed from being a child or being a baby and you weren't taken care of, you've also interpreted that as, right, you were not valued. And so if your parents or whoever your caregiver was didn't see the value in you, right now you're having a hard time valuing yourself, right? So again, it's all related. It's all related. That's why I talk about owning your audacity, like owning all the parts of yourself, right? You have to own the trauma. You have to own the stuff that you've been through in order, you have to process it, you have to feel it, you have to work through it in order for your business to grow and scale. Because part of the scaling piece is the delegation piece, right? You can only take so much. It's also why I have the burnout archetype quiz, so you can find out what archetype you are, like what is the root cause of the reason why you're feeling burnt out right now in your business. So again, if you want to get that, it's burnoutarchetypequiz.com. Go ahead, go over there, take your quiz, get your archetype, and come back and listen to the rest of this. Anyway, so back to trust. So Franklin Covey has this whole like training series. It started off with a book, and then it's a whole corporate training series that I learned when I was working, in corporate in that my Fortune 50 company that I was working in. We were having change management issues, and the speed of trust was a tool that we used in order to get the people who were kind of stuck in the old regime, the old mindset, because things were shifting, right? Oil and gas is an older industry in the United States, or just in the world in general, right? And the world is trying to shift to green energy, which I won't get into the whole energy debate, but um, there was a whole regime change that was happening because there were just antiquated things that we need to get rid of as far as technology, how we were running things, and to operate under a new, more streamlined regime. And we had to get to the bottom of the speed of trust issue. And in a nutshell, what the speed of trust is this: your organization can only grow as quickly or as fast as the speed of trust. So, right, so think of speed as miles per hour on your car, right? If you're feeling like your business is slow or sluggish, you're probably crawling around because you're stuck in traffic. And how I want to equate traffic to you is the traffic, and you see all the cars that are causing all the traffic, all the tasks that you haven't delegated, right? Because if you look around, especially like here in California with the HOV lane, right, you see so many solo drivers sitting in their cars. We're all going to the same destination. Can you imagine if all of those people, if there was a mass transit option, right, could put them all into some kind of mass transit option, get those cars off the road. That's what carbon footprint and green energy is trying to do, right? Mm-hmm. Get all the cars off the road, and like then whoever was left on the road would just speed right on through, right? And that's where the delegation process, like, because sometimes people are like, delegation, like that means I have to hire someone. And we're going to get to the trust, like the people trust and the technology trust. But we have to address this baseline of the speed of trust in your business. So, right, if you're crawling through rush hour traffic or at rush hour traffic speed, that's because your highway is clogged with too many um, manual tasks, right? You want to streamline, you want to automate that, right? If you can get more people in the HOV lane, just get more cars off the road. That's the whole thing behind using technology to get your business, get rid of the blocks in your business, right? And a lot of the burnout that is coming through is because of your inability to delegate. So that's why I am addressing this. And also, I wanted to clear up a couple of things about owning your audacity, because some people are like, they get it and some people don't get it. So what it actually means to own your audacity, like I love learning, I love looking up things. And so when God dropped the name Own Your Audacity, I was like, oh, it sounds cool, but what does it really mean to own your audacity? So audacity means, right, a bold or arrogant disregard of normal restraints. It's like, how dare you, right? Greta Grunberg or whatever, right? She's that green energy person, right? So how dare you be driving your car on the freeway? Anyway, um, but that's basically the gist behind audacity. There's a lot of you who have thought like, how dare I be a business owner? Oh, or you think that's what other people are thinking about you, like, how dare she be successful in her business? How dare she get out of, you know, you know, living in the ghetto or whatever. Like that's where I grew up. I grew up on like I had a lot of things, but we weren't necessarily rich, right? So for those of us who had to climb out of that and like have stepped into success, like success came on me pretty quickly. When I was in my 20s, I jumped right into the oil and gas field, and I was making six figures straight away as a 20-year-old. And I was like, whoa, where did all this money come from? And I didn't even know how to spend it. I just didn't know how to spend it because I was so used to living in scarcity and keeping all the money to myself. Um, and so anyway, right? So the audacity, like, how dare you? And but what it means to own your audacity. So I also looked up the words own. So the word own means to have power of or to have mastered, right? So you're owning it. And this goes into the speed of trust, because a lot of times the reason why you don't trust people is because you have control issues, which it's not a bad thing. It's neither good nor bad. It is a hindrance. I'm going to say that, but like just control issues in general, like control has allowed you to stay safe, right? Whether it's controlling your money, which is scarcity, or controlling your time, which is, just, just really being like stringent with your time and kind of being closed off and like not wanting to open your calendar, right? For looking at the time wheel, the idea is like really um, closing down on sharing your ideas with the people who need to hear it, which is our clients or your customers, and like closing down in your energy, which I've done because I didn't have it. Like I was diagnosed with burnout in 2016, and I just didn't have the energy. So for years, I let my lack of energy and my energy issues control my output. So I was like, I stopped working out because I used to work out pretty hardcore, and then I stopped working out. And very recently, within the last 2 weeks, we went back to the gym. Um, and I'm like, wow, like I hadn't worked out that hard in a long time because I was like under the, I was trying to control my energy that way, right? So, what it means to own your audacity, like we have to own where we are. So, let me, before I go into the whole spiel, right? Your definition of your, like, how stupid is that? But your is a possessive, right? You are possessing, like yours is an adjective where it's like your audacity, right? What are you are owning is the verb your, which is personal audacity. And what it means is, right, we have to be clear on who we are, and like, what do you want your life and your business to look like? And how would it feel to have the freedom to do what you want to do in your life and business? And I know a lot of you listening or going to watch on the replay will, you know, you've been in this scenario, you've hired all the coaches, you bought all the programs, but they've told you step by step a strategy to deploy or do this, that in your business, and it hasn't really worked out. And you're like, dude, why doesn't it work? And the sad part of it is, and I've said this before, but the basics of that is you are looking at their strategy, their success pattern, and trying to apply it to yourself. And because you are not like them, right? God made you, He created you as an individual, you're not like them. So when you're trying to deploy their strategy, how business worked for them, and whether like you bought into a guru or you follow a guru online, right? You're looking at them like, oh, they have success. So maybe if I do it their way, then I will also have success, right? That's what we think. It's natural to think that way. But that's why I created the burnout archetype quiz so that you can understand like how you work and how your business should work so that you're not going to burn yourself out. Because right, business is a marathon, it's not a sprint. If it was a sprint, like we'd be one and done. We'd be like hitting the big time and like I'm out. Like this is not the lottery, right? If you started your business to have that quick cash injection, like, even the people on Shark Tank or whatever, like they've they've had ideas for years, and it's until they step out of their comfort zone to promote themselves and to do the thing that they want to do, that's when their success really started to take off. And now you have investors who will just throw money at something and then recoup the investment. So if you're an investment strategist, or if investment is your strategy, then that's cool, right? That's how you're going to make your millions and whatever. But still, right, you say you're a real estate investor, you still had to start somewhere. You had to buy your first house, flip it, buy your next place, flip that. um then you have to get your renters to come in to pay the mortgages, and like the whole thing. Or if you're a penny stock investor, right, you had to start somewhere. Like these people are not rich overnight. Like the only time it works is the lottery, and even then, right, how many lottery tickets have you bought over the years until you hit it in like Publishers Clearinghouse, right? They come to your house with a big check. Like how many years were you investing in giving them money, and then finally it's your turn and it comes, right? So anyway, nothing is overnight. And that is cool. So we're supposed to be talking about delegation, but I want to bring it back to the speed of trust as well. The reason why you're able to go faster and harder once you become a more seasoned entrepreneur is because you've developed a trust in yourself and what you have to offer, what you're really good at, like what your zone of genius is. And I have a zone of genius training in my free Facebook group. So if you want that and you're not in there already, go ahead and tag me below this video and I will tag you in that video. But it's really about understanding your zone of genius, right? You have to trust yourself. And you also have to trust, like I said, the technology and the people that you're going to be delegating to. And whichever one is easier for you to do, like if you have people trust issues, a lot of times it's easier for clients who have like relationship trust issues, whether it's with a significant other, because they were in an abusive relationship and they got gaslighted and all of that. There's that piece, or a authority figure in their life, whether it was a parent, a teacher that broke trust with them. So now, therefore, they don't trust people. So a lot of times, my clients will find trust in technology, therefore they choose technology as their first delegation strategy. Now, there are people who take the delegating to or the people delegation path first because they're like, technology, like, right? A lot of people have technology trust issues. I was talking to someone in my mastermind group yesterday, and her husband does tech, but he doesn't want to leave any electronic footprints because he doesn't trust, how people are using his data. So, right, there is such a thing as technology trust issues, right? So, I've not worked with him, but I'm saying like people who have technology trust issues, and whether it is like you don't want to leave a digital footprint, because you're scared about, tracking and tagging and whatever. And it's a real thing. I have a friend who works in the NSA, so it's a real issue. I'm not saying that it's not. Cybersecurity is a real issue, but um, it's, like, whichever path, there still has to be some kind of trust issue up front that needs to be dealt with if you are struggling with delegation. So, and the reason why delegation is important for the scaling of your business, I'm sure you already understand that, but there's there's a lot of times when we don't trust ourselves, and that puts us in team too much, where we're like, oh, I don't trust myself, so therefore I have to try all the strategies, I have to have all the different offers, I have to, do all the things, and you end up feeling like a chicken with your head cut off, and you're like and what ends up happening, and I am the poster child for this, where right, I had severe trust issues. I've been in a narcissistic abusive relationship. I've had trust issues with my parents, and other authority figures. I've had Me Too incidents. So just trust issues all around. And because of the gaslighting, I didn't trust myself. Okay. And so it took a lot of inner work to get over those trust issues, and understanding that it's them, it's not me, right? But how do I, you know, um, forgiveness for me has been huge. Like doing the inner work around forgiveness and just forgiving people, because that, I believe, after trying like all the modalities, all the different therapy types, CBT, DBT, um, EMDR, like I tried a whole lot. I've even been on medication, so there's no stigma, right? We're not talking about stigma and medication today, but I've tried all the things. And the only thing that really worked and cut it off at the root was forgiveness of the other party. Because it is true, you probably heard the analogy where forgiveness is not about me, or it's not about them, it's about me, right? It's like unforgiveness is like drinking poison, hoping the other person will die. Because with unforgiveness, like, you're feeding yourself negative thoughts, you're feeding yourself, um, just like you're thinking negative things about the other person, when in fact, like, they might be living scot-free and you're over here like sitting and stewing and rehashing all of the things that they did to you, and it's ruining your life, not only your life but your business, because of the trust issues we already talked about. So right, so you're out here doing all the things, and then people see you doing all the things, which they've seen me do all the things. I've done health coaching, I've done relationship coaching, business coaching, marketing, operations, project management, team management. Um, if I had to show you my resume, it'd be like, this chick was all over the place. And right, so going back to that, like you become a jack of all trades, right? Whether it's you've switched niches a whole lot, or you have, tried all the different strategies, marketing strategies, whatever. One, if you tried a lot of email marketing strategy, you probably burned your list. Um, you probably burned your list or something like that. And anyway, you become a jack of all trades, or Jill. I don't know. I feel like jack of all trades is like gender neutral, but whatever, Jill of all trades. But then you become a master of none. So that goes back to owning your audacity. Like, what are you actually owning? Right? What is that thing that you're going to own that you've mastered? Right? And are you going to have the audacity to own it and just own it and say, like, this is what I'm really good at, and therefore I'm going to go all in on this one opportunity, right? Um, so I'm just referring to my notes. Anyway, so right, jack of all trades, you keep trying all the things. You just need to settle down and pick a lane. And here's the thing, when you own your audacity, you don't have to pick a lane, you create the lane, right? If you're driven in LA traffic or even like Orange County traffic, um, it's bad, right? You have like 8 lanes across and you're crawling. It's like my brain can't even fathom like how many cars are on the road. Um, but can you imagine creating your own lane, like bypassing that? Like if you had a fast track transponder that had a lane with your name on it, like how much would that benefit you, right? Just go right in there. So again, let me look. So um, the delegation piece, right? You have to trust yourself that one, you know what you're doing. You have to trust other people, and you have to start trusting technology in order to delegate and begin to scale your business past 6 and 7 figures. Because you're not going to get past the 6 figure mark doing everything yourself. I mean, you could possibly, but you may be stuck in like the 2 to 300,000 range as a solopreneur. I don't know. You could be a unicorn and just prove me wrong. But after working with 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs, like that's what I've seen. And they usually hire me and bring me on once they're ready to scale and really move the needle forward, to streamline all of their processes and be able to take on the clients that they've been having to say no to because they weren't streamlined and they didn't have the processes in place and everything like that. So, right, you just need to own your audacity, right? You need to own how you work, how you operate, and not be afraid to do a business. Anyway, not be afraid to do business your way, even though it goes against the grain of what you've been taught, because you know inside yourself like what will work and what works for you. And if you're doing a business thing that is like and it feels hard and it feels strained, that's not the business model that God has lined up for you. It doesn't align with your personality. If you think going live is your ticket, then like for me, like I don't like writing. I don't enjoy it. I enjoy talking and verbally processing. So video. And there are a lot of people who don't enjoy watching these longer type videos, but then there are, right? So those are my people who want to communicate and want to interact and everything like that. So um, if you're still struggling with delegation, there's one word of advice for you today, one nugget. If you take anything else away, is learn to trust yourself first. If you're still struggling with trusting technology and trusting people, just trust yourself first. Build that foundation with yourself first so that you know what your offer is and like who you are in the world, how you want to show up in your business, and trust your instinct, because that is what is going to help you move the needle forward faster. Okay, so that is it for today. I'll see you guys next